Reef Guy 92 here. I'm in my basement room and I'm gonna show you guys how to make a wicked 5-gallon all-in-one aquarium for less than 20 bucks. Stay tuned. You're gonna see how I build the tank. You're gonna see how I build the stand. And from that point on, we're gonna fill this guy with water, sand, live rock, and livestock. So keep up and watching. We're gonna have a daily episode every day. Click subscribe, you'll get the updates on everything every day as we go along and fill up this tank. Thanks for sticking around. We're gonna now build this stand. This is going to be a 10 by 14 inch stand. This is the size of my aquarium. That is the footprint around the perimeter. I've given myself just like 1/4 of an inch on either side. So I'm gonna make the frame for that, and then we're gonna put a piece of plywood on top of that and then build the legs on the inside, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Pretty easy to do, and because this is just a small tank, it's gonna be probably maybe 60 pounds, 70 pounds at max, because it's only 5 gallons. So strength isn't a huge factor here, so I'm using some cheap 1x4s and some nice thin plywood, make it all sleek and nice. So here I'm measuring up the 4 pieces that will be the bottom underneath the tank, and that will support the edges surrounding the tank. I've made a 14-inch piece, and then I've also made some 10.5-inch pieces here, and I'm just squaring up the 2 pieces so that they're exactly the same. I'm going to repeat this step to make 4 pieces for the top, 4 pieces for the bottom edge, and then I'm going to ensure that they are nice and clean and together, as well as the same lengths, so that I'm not going to have any issues with anything being overhanging or too short. So I've got my 1 stack of wood here. That will be the top for just underneath the tank, top of the stand. And then now I'm going to grab the 4, these are 2x3s that I had kicking around, and I'm going to make sure that these are lined up nicely, that I'm at the right measurements, and I'm going to cut these to about a 32-inch length for my stand height. Now unfortunately my video cut out here and my phone died, and I was unknowing of that. So we're going to just head over straight to the building of the tank stand, because it's just a repetitive process. So in this video here, I've got the main support poles, I've got the base of the tank stand. These are about 32 inches high, these are 14 inches wide, and then I've got the 10-inch wide pieces on the sides. Those 2 sides there are your 10-inch sides. Those are going to be for the tank to sit on once I put them together and attach them to the leg. The stand is actually built upside down, so that I have a level surface to actually build the stand on, so that way when the tank, and I flip it over, the tank will actually be on a level surface. That's why you see the leg standing straight up in the air, and this will actually be turned over and turned into the top of the stand. One thing to note, that I am using 2 screws. These are 3.5-inch screws. They're a little long for actually the stand that I'm using, but they're what I had around. And I'm using 2 per post on each of these boards, just so that way it's not going to swivel and move around once the tank is on, and that gives it lots of structural integrity. So I flipped the stand over now. You can see that the top is the top. In this video part, I have actually only screwed in, contrary to what I just told you, 1 screw into a couple of these legs, and that is allowing me to just make sure they are level. I'll be adding the 2nd screw now, so that way I do give it that structure that it needs.
But now you're looking at the top of the stand and where the tank is actually going to sit on top. I'm now sizing up the other set of those sideboards for where I want to put them on the stand. Of course, unfortunately, I forgot to videotape that part of it all, but I ended up just putting them on the bottom, along the bottom edge. Now I am putting on the piece of plywood for the on top of the stand where the tank will actually sit, and that was cut predetermined into my shop, and I'm just screwing that down to the stand itself to give it lots of strength, and that is actually where the tank will sit. And here we have it. The tank fits on the stand perfectly. There's a slight overhang, is which I was wanting to have. And there is the finished product of the stand with the base boards put on, and then the tank and stand all together. It turned out great, and this was a quick 1 hour build at most.
So keep up and watching. We're gonna have a daily episode every day. Click subscribe, you'll get the updates on everything every day as we go along and fill up this tank.